Yes, Shweta.
Hey,
I am still hearing my echo.
it's actually, I cannot hear it anymore.
Okay. So, a huge and warm welcome, and I'm thrilled to have you on this live. I just can't wait to talk to you and cherish our obviously memories, childhood memories, as well as you being an incredible literature enthusiast, lawyer, mental health advocate, and above all, a very dear childhood friend. So, who has graciously agreed to be part of this live straight from Australia.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Uh,
As I was
so,
saying before, nobody else could have made me do this. I do not do lives. I'm just, and this is one of my pet peeves. Like, I actually think that during this, I'm going to choke and die on camera. Everybody is going to see that, and no one can do anything about it. So, my life is in your hands now.
not at all, not at all. I live on lives, so I mean, I really love doing it, and I love, bringing good people and their inspirational journey on the table. It's absolutely honor and privilege to have you. So, and it's going to be a very, very smooth chat. So, not to worry. Um, I'm only worrying about the ecos. So, the listeners, can you please type in the type box? The chat box. Is it clear? Are we both audible? I have my first international guest on the show today. Is it because of the distance? So those who are listening to us, could you please confirm if it is clear or any echo heard? I assume silence to be yes.
Yes, that's the best we can
You
do.
are you are absolutely clear. Are you hearing my echo or something? Am I audible?
No, you are audible. You are very clear.
Okay, then let's begin. So for those who don't know, Shweta definitely is my dear childhood friend. We have a lot of memories, Uh, so thank you for confirming. They say that the echo is not that great. Good. So Shweta, it means that I have to speak less and you have to speak more. I will quickly introduce you. I'll quickly introduce. The Shweta is a lawyer by profession, and she's passionate advocate for mental health and well-being in workplaces. She's literature enthusiast who loves to read and write. Her body of work is basically creative writing, mostly in Hindi, and consists of poems, short stories, and travel memoirs. Her poems are published regularly in various magazines and news portals. She was recently recognized by Indian Literature Society of Australia, where she won the first prize for storytelling. Definitely, Shweta, you're making all our Indians proud there. So her writing has an earthen flavor reflecting her strong ties with home and family. She believes in speaking out uncomfortable truths, and thus her poems often have a feminist tone to them. So a huge and warm welcome, Shweta. I just can't wait to hear from you. And quickly jumping on to my first question. Tell us about your journey as a literature enthusiast, and when did you learn that you have this inclination towards poetry? And perhaps you can just sing or narrate a couple of your lines from your first poem or anything which comes in your mind relevant to the time now.
Um, okay. The last part actually threw me off. I wasn't prepared for that. But so, literature enthusiast, when did the journey start? I do not really remember formally when I started reading because I can never remember, like, I just can't remember a time when I was not reading. I grew up in a household surrounded by books. So there's just not, an option to not read. Also, I was one of those kids who, if you cannot find me anywhere, I would be found with a book and sitting in a corner and just, doing my own thing. So I was always that person. And looking back, that probably I was avoiding people or whatever. I do not know that part yet. I still have to figure out why I was doing it. But I was reading before, I was reading before my age, if I can say that, if I can use that phrase. So I read a lot of stuff which I understood later. I did not understand it when I was actually reading it. But that happened. My first formal poem, like officially, first poem was when I was 8 or 9,
Okay.
and that was yeah. So that was at the age of 8 or 9, or um, I think now I can relate back. Like I was actually. I was a kid and I was writing about domestic violence and dowry abuse society. I
Nice.
do not know why I was doing that, but yes, I was writing about that at the age of 8 or 9. It was a shitty poem, I can say that now, but it was a good one for an 8-year-old. So that is how it started. I think we'll keep the recitation for the end of this
Sure.
thing.
No
By then,
problem.
I'll.
Definitely. So it's wonderful. I think, starting at an early age, and you actually didn't plan. So that is the beauty. When you start writing, you really don't plan. So if you would have taken it up once you've grown up, then perhaps it could be because of your profession or something like that. So I think that's the beauty of our childhood, that something that, because I was also very fond of writing. Okay, and now I do write a lot of articles and blogs. So what I'm saying is it all began then, and then it eventually improves. So definitely all listeners, and I'm desperately waiting to hear from you. So now that we are almost out of the pandemic, I don't know, but so what lesson did you learn from pandemic, and any new hobby you took it there, or
New hobby? No, I left one which was torturing people. But it's just that I think during pandemic, all of us just turned to the basic core of our nature. And before this, we never realized the importance of, and especially for someone like me, I'm an ambivert. Like, I'm not exactly an introvert. I can switch on my social side when needed, but my social battery gets exhausted really soon. So, for someone like me who always looked at people with annoyance, it was actually surprising to find out that I miss the human company as well. So I enjoyed it. Initially, I enjoyed being at home, like not underestimating everything that was happening around, but I enjoyed being at home, like not traveling, not having to small talk, and yeah, that aspect of it. But at the same time, I actually started appreciating the human connection a little more. That is something what happened. I can see that Sheetal is asking how about gardening. I was always doing gardening. Like I did not really do anything new, honestly, during lockdown. I just whatever I could not find time for earlier, what I was doing, I just did a little more.
she's spilling all your secrets here?
Because if you cannot find a human to talk to, who else will you talk to?
Yeah, you
So
can't talk to
yeah.
your books. Your best friends are books. We know by now, but I mean, unfortunately, they don't talk. Okay, another special and beautiful thing about you, apart from being, a very literature, a very good poetess and a literature enthusiast, is that you're very passionate about counseling. You're being a mental health advocate. So, as far as in your journey, what has been your toughest case or most challenging experience you had, and uh, which one do you remember? Recall that your help really changed the mindset or the perspective of that person. Any?
I'll actually, I'm thinking of two incidents, and I'll actually lead with one where it changed me as a person, honestly. And it was not like I was not counseling. It was I was very new in this country. I when I came in, I joined a company for 3 months. Like it was a contractual role. I worked there for 3 months. I I'm not going to say I made friends. I was very new. Like these people were welcoming. We talked and everything, but I just walked out of that company with some experience, not with friends, honestly. We exchanged numbers and all, but that was it. Then I started working somewhere else. I had started building my own social life, and everything was going fine. And one fine day, I received a call from somebody I worked with previously in that company. And this was like 9 or 10 months, or actually around a year, more than a year, actually. And I get a call from this person, and she's. I'm not going to name names, and I'm not even going to mention countries, but she was from Indian subcontinent, and she called me out of blue. I was getting ready for office, just leaving for office in the morning, and I talked to her while I was on train, and she was very random and abrupt. She's like, "So I just thought that I should give you a call. How are you doing?" I was like, "I'm fine. How have you been?" And this is a person I've not talked to for, let's just say, 1 year, almost 1 year. I've not been in touch with her. It was very out of blue for me. And then she was like, "So where do you work now?" And I gave her the location. I just mentioned something about it. And then she's like, "Can I come meet you?" And I did not understand anything till that point, to be honest. I was like, "Okay, sure, come in." And I was surprised. I was confused. I just did not know what to make out of this. I reached office, and then I saw her with a 4-year-old kid, like her kid, and she was very scared. She was very nervous. She was very scared, and I could tell that she wants to talk about something, but she just. It's just that like she does not have the courage. I do not know how to ask the right questions. But then I sat her down and I talked to her, and she she was in a household where domestic abuse was like, domestic violence was a daily thing. She'd been in it for almost 7 years by that time, and her family back home was not very well to do. She got married and came to Videsh, and she was living here. She basically had nowhere to go to, and it was all the red flags there and everything. And I would not get into, like, I would not indulge into the details because the details are not nice, of course. And the kid was very scared. The kid was like really scared. I still remember his face. And then I honestly could not, I felt so helpless in that moment because I was not equipped. I did not know how to comfort her, if I can tell you honestly. Like, I was feeling so inadequate in that moment. I did not know what to do. Like, I could ask her to come to my place, but what next? So, long story short, I found a number, I found a helpline number, and then help reached her and everything. And there was something which I probably should not have asked, but I asked in that time. I was like, "What made you do it now? Like 7 years you've been enduring this." And she just said, "Today he hit my son." And that was very moving for me. And the fact that I felt very inadequate, I really wanted to help her, but I just did not know how. So that is something which actually made me educate myself more on this. And that is something which changed my perspective. I still remember. And another point is that I know very well that these cases do not end well at times. So I still have that trauma that someday I might wake up and I'll read something very unpleasant in newspaper about her. She's been relocated and everything, but her family was very influential and whatnot. So I still live with that trauma that someday I might, hear things I do not want to hear about her. So that is something which changed me as a person, that I still live with that in good ways and bad. So yeah.
Absolutely. I think many incidents make you, change your perspective and how difficult life is. Shweta, may I request you to go on mute because I realized that when you were speaking, when I was on mute, the echo was less.
Okay, let's try that.
So I think there's no echo now. So either somebody speaks from India or speaks from Australia. Okay, we can't be speaking at the same time. Great. So okay. So I think what you just now shared is very, very sensitive and very important, and we all should realize that how life can change and how people are in difficulties. And as you rightly said, while I understand you felt helpless, and anybody at your place would have felt like that, but at least you listened to her and tried to help her. I think if everyone does the same, I think they are doing in their capacity. That's one of the best thing we can do. And I think you did right. And now that your knowledge has increased, maybe you can guide her more on that. Moving on to various things which you do. You being a lawyer by profession, and mental health advocate, and a literature enthusiast. I mean, what keeps you motivated? Because I'm sure it's difficult to manage so many things and pursue your passions and all that. So what keeps you motivating? What's your motivation in your daily life?
Nothing really. Friends like you who push me to do things. That's all. I'm not exactly a very motivated person. But sincerely, the fact that I feel that I have spent so much time doing nothing that I need to catch up on that now. So that is something just that is what pushes me. Nothing
No,
more
I
really.
don't think so. I don't think so. You have done nothing. You have done a lot. Is just that the wait was worth it, isn't it?
It is worth it. Also, I'm surrounded by wonderful people. Like I come from my family, my friends, everybody around me, and it's just yeah, everyone is doing so much that at times you do not realize when you pick up things from them. So that is something which is like motivated or not, I do not know. I'm a procrastinator. I'm a very lazy person. I would not do anything if my life does not depend on it. But at the same time, it's the intensity with which I want to live. So you have to find a balance that way.
No, great artist only speaks like this. So, so what are some of your strategies that you believe that helped you grow as a person? I know you from a couple of years, and we did speak that you had a little low phase. I mean, if I have to say that way, wherein you actually felt lost that what you have to do, while you had a lot of potential, you had a lot of dreams. How modest you may sound now, but I know that everybody has, right, at that growing age. And even if you're not, if you see all people all around you, your colleagues, your classmates, doing something, definitely. But today, in fact, I was telling my children also that she's my friend, and who thought that she's nothing, and today she's making India proud, in Australia. So it's a big journey. And so what strategies helped you grow as a person? Your success mantra, how do you multitask there? And how did you handle your, maybe if I have to say, those rejections or the low phase? How did you come out of it? Because usually people, once they're depressed, it's difficult for them to cope up and come out. But now you have come out so beautifully, and definitely your journey looks so inspiring, that while initially you thought there's nothing, but now today you're doing just everything. You're professionally, personally pursuing your passions, and talking to me today. So it's a lot that you're doing, absolutely. So what are some strategies? What would you suggest people out there?
I'm actually glad that you mentioned it because that is something when we were talking about the mental health journey earlier before this live. So I think it started with this part of me which wanted to self discover. You rightly pointed out I was really lost. Like in high school, I was lost, and I was struggling. I did not realize at that time, but I was struggling. Like on many levels. So it started from there where I really wanted to improve. Like to just put it very simply, I was not happy with how my life was going. And thankfully, I was never suicidal. And the reason I say this because I've seen it very closely in some of my friends. And um, I was never suicidal, but I just knew that this part of my life is not what I wanted to be. And I desperately wanted to change it. So once that thought enters your life that you want to change it and you want to take charge of it, then after that pretty much everything is simple. And it sort of shaped just this idea. I do not really have a strategy. I still do not have a strategy. There are just two things where one, you take charge of your own actions. You're the only one responsible. And another thing is that if you just have empathy and you listen to, because I did not have anyone who listened to me, and I do not really have any complaints about that because this does not happen with a lot of brown people, like brown kids. They cannot say this, but I can. My mother actually after few years, like after high school, I was in uni at that time, and we were talking. We became good friends after that. Like, we were good friends before high school, we were good friends after high school, but that phase I just did not have anyone to talk to. And my mom said, like, she said that I'm sorry that I was not standing with you when you needed me the most. And how many parents do we know who have this courage to apologize to their kids for something they did not understand? We did not come with manuals, right? They were growing with us. They were like, they were growing up with us, so they did not know how to handle those situations. I'm the eldest child in my family. They had not seen this teenage, lost, depressed teenager before, so they did not know how to handle it. But she acknowledged it, and honestly, that gives me a lot of power. That I have some stories before that where, like, being a girl child, I was really sought after. I was asked for. Everybody in our generation, like, before our generation, as in like our parents' generation, were asking for sons, and you as well. I know this for you as well. Like, we are the daughters our parents asked for. So that gives you a lot of power. Like, any strategy in my life is going to fail if I start feeling today that I'm unwanted, I'm undesired. No, that's so, like, that I get a lot of strength from that fact that I was sought after even before I was born. So today, like, nobody gets that power over me to let me feel any less than I want to feel. So that's all. That's actually all, like, strategy, strength, whatever you call it. That is where I get it from, I think.
That's so beautiful to hear, and thank you very much for sharing, being so honest and true. Uh, and you rightly said, even I feel that no matter how many friends, family you have, if you fall, you are the only one who can rise yourself. I mean, nobody else can lift you up. You personally have to feel that, and you have to have that resilience. You have to have that power to come back and come back. Look at you. You have, you know. Uh, with a bang, you have come back and banging people there with your poetry and your power. So more power to you, Shweta. It's absolutely wonderful. Now that you are running on high on success, and I'm sure many awards await you. So how was your experience of being awarded by the Literature Society of Australia? And I mean, I can't just imagine that moment, and it's absolutely, as an Indian, I feel so proud and privileged.
Look, I actually feel a bit like I probably should talk very highly about this, but the truth of the matter is that I wanted to win this prize. Like, I entered this competition just where, like, I won the first prize. And the only motivation is, like, I have these two friends. One of them won this prize last year, another one won something else, and there was just this joke that you're hanging out with the winners without being a winner. And I was like, no, that is going to change. And so that was the only thing. And another thing was, so this year I did a lot of stuff which I was not comfortable with. When I say not comfortable with, which I just mean that I've never done that before. I've done some public speaking before, but when it comes to creative writing, it has always mostly been for poems. So I wanted to do storytelling, and thankfully this just came across, and this worked so well that it just ticked all the boxes. It's like, so I'm now in the winners club, so I can hang out with them without them, being able to taunt me on this or tease me on this. And also, it's just something I wanted to do. When I look back, I realized that I was actually competing with some theater artists and life coaches, and my experience compared to them is nothing. So it was. It did not hit me in that moment, to be honest. As, like, I was very sure that I'm gonna get something, and so it all went well. But after that, when I actually look back on this, on whoever was participating and all, and then I felt really good. More than anything, it gives you a confidence to explore the unexplored. That's all. And I think that is any award is good. Like, I'm not going to undermine that. The more the better. But at the same time, I think the feeling you walk out with from any event, that is the best thing to carry forward.
Absolutely. Award is something you physically see, and the non-tangible thing is the amount of confidence you gain. And every time when you see that award, I think it multiplies. So many congratulations on your global award, Shweta. And I mean, we all are very proud of it. So, uh, you being Indian there, and your poetry mainly is in Hindi. So, how difficult or easy it is there to inspire people or tell people about it?
Look, honestly, I I do not know the difference because there are two things actually. Uh, Back in India, I was not this vocal that I write or I present, or I was briefly active in theaters, but it's just like I was very busy. I was working as a lawyer, and then back in India, you are working for 12, 14, 16 hours. So it does not really give you enough time to pursue hobbies. So I wasn't very active. I was reading a lot at that point, but I wasn't writing or sharing my writing a lot at that point. Coming to Australia came with like one blessing I got was work life balance, which helped me explore a lot more. And some people have done a good job in making these groups and getting people to this stage. I just exploited their connections. They made the stage. I just went there and presented my thing, and that's all I did. So it worked well for me. But there are two things. One is being outside India, you face limited audience, and it also comes. It has its benefits, but then there is also another point where at times you feel that you get a bit limited with experimentation. Like your craft always gets better with experiment. That is what I feel. Like if I keep writing the same thing I wrote 10 years ago, there's no point. I should just stop. So if I'm not writing something new, or if I'm not experimenting with my craft, there's no point to continue. But at times I feel limited that I have some people who write really good quality stuff around me, and I'm blessed to have them. But apart from that, it's back in India, the circles are really big, so there could have been more things happening there. But it's fine. Probably back in India, I would not have gotten any time at all to do this.
True. So yeah, no problem. Whenever you're for vacation in India, we can have your what do you say shows, and then you can call us. It would be pleasure, isn't it? Great. So so a quick rapid fire now for you, Shweta. But all the listeners, be ready, because we're going to hear her also for the first time live on Insta after the quick rapid fire. So quickly, Shweta, what angers you and what gives you hope?
What angers me? Uh, Lies, probably, because I would like to believe that I'm a very understanding, very cool person. So give me your darkest secret. I'll live with it. I'll understand that. But lies just turn me off. Like that is that is the biggest red flag for me. So probably that. And what gives me hope? What gives me hope? Coffee? I don't know. Just what gives me hope is the fact that it's just I live in a very wonderful country. Like it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. The sunset, sunrise, everything is so beautiful. I just do not have to look further than that, honestly. It's and then it's just I'm beyond blessed in every aspect. So I should not really, like making a big deal out of it. Every morning when I wake up and I have a job to go to, I have friends I can talk to, and that's more than enough.
Absolutely. The two things you would like to change about yourself, or people, I mean, they don't know about you. Two things.
I'm very impulsive. I'm very impulsive, and That is a good and a bad thing. So I would not change that about me, but there are times when I would like to be more calculative. I do first and think later. So that is something. What I would like to change about me, I'm struggling really hard to not say the first thing that comes to my mind. But what I would like to change about me is that I undercommit. Like there are so many things I can do, but I just, like in my head, I overthink this, and then I'm like, I'm going to screw this up, so I'm not going to do it. So probably I should stop overthinking. That is something I would like to change about me.
Absolutely. A quick advice on self doubts, as in, I mean,
Look, I can't believe I'm saying this on live and I'm saying this in public, but I'm the authority on this. Like I have seen self doubt like none other, so I can say this. I probably start saying this to myself in a dark phase without realizing that it is going to help me. I was probably just saying, I don't know. I haven't figured it out. I was probably just saying it to pull myself together, but at God knows when I started saying this and this phrase stuck. I still use it in various circumstances. I just say मैं टंच मालूं तुम अपना देख लो मतलब मुझ में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है so whatever comes my way मैं टंच मालूं मैं देख लूंगी अपना मैं संभाल लूंगी तुम अपना देख लो so and that sucks like even in my job घर पे कहीं पे भी दोस्ती यारी कहीं पे भी it's like I try not to be the problem. It's not the toxic self love. I try not to be the problem, but if I'm not the problem, I was like, okay, all right. मैं टंच मार लूं तुम अपनी संभाल लो.
very well said. Very well said. So, describe yourself in 3 words.
Impulsive, mm, procrastinator, and someone who loves life.
Absolutely, we all can feel that how much you love and love your life, and you have so much gratitude, right? People don't stop complaining, and you are such a positive person that, in spite being through the ups and downs in your life, you say that you are blessed beyond words. So, I think people who have this much of gratitude and who feel blessed, I mean, God keeps showering them because they understand, versus people whom God, keep showering and still they complain. So, I think you're rightly living your life, and definitely you have so much evolved, and I'm sure every day is going to be better, and more power to you, Shweta. And before as I said, I'm not going to leave you till I hear your poetry, so over to you for your lines and some message for the audience.
So I completely forgot about that part. So just give me a minute. I should have actually. I do not know why I did not anticipate this because like we were going to talk about poetry, so there has to have something. And the thing is that I'm going live with phone, and I have everything in my phone.
Now, anything which you recall, any of your favorite lines which made you win the award, anything which comes in your mind.
The worst thing is that if you are put under pressure and you're like, just say, pick your favorite book, pick your favorite friend, whatever, and that is the moment where you can't think of anything. This is one of those times. So I have, I just, something I remember, it might be a bit broken in the rhyming and all. But this is something I wrote. I was gardening, as one of my friends pointed out, and I saw something and I wrote this. So it goes like this. बिना उगाए उग जाती हैं, बिना सींचे ही बढ़ जाती हैं. कोई सींचे shit, I can't. This was my ultimate, fear that this is going to happen, and this happened. that I remember this poetry. Like you can, if you ask me anytime, you stop the recording now and you ask me, I'll remember this. But now that I have to recite it, I've completely forgotten what it was. But let's just leave that one. And as you said, that we like what message I would like to leave the audience with. So just four lines I can remember. I wrote this in my diary. We were traveling somewhere. I was coming back, and then I wrote, um, "कुछ बीता है, कुछ बाकी है. जितना भी है, एकाकी है." And when I wrote this, ekaki means alone, like, Uh, so when I wrote this, it came from a sad place. But then I revisited it, and it somehow it gave me so much power that कुछ बीता है, कुछ बाकी है. पर जितना भी है एकाकी है. So whatever you think that your shortcomings are, whatever you think you are lacking, whatever you think the time you have wasted, or that was my thought originally. Like, I've wasted a lot of time, I've wasted a lot of potential. I could have done so much more, but at the same time, कुछ बीता है पर कुछ बाकी है. There's so much more to life than we think of it. और जितना भी है एकाकी है. We cannot keep blaming the environment. We cannot keep blaming the people around us for everything. Going back to what I said earlier, you have to take charge and you just have to be the master of your ship. So,
Absolutely, and you are the captain leading our Indian flag out there. And many, many thank you for such an honest and candid chat. I hope you also enjoyed. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed, talking to you, and thankful for you being, so honest and truthful about the incidents and how you actually fought back. And so, no problems. जितना भी था उतना काफी है. बहुत सारी बातें और भी बाकी हैं. Your effect. So once again, thank you very much for taking our time. It's been wonderful to talk to you.
thank you so much, Aprika. Thank you for making me do this. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank
And
you
I'm
so much.
actually
Good night.
very
Take
grateful
care.
for my friends who joined. And uh, thank you, Sheetal, for bringing the birds and the lizards into picture. So, but I'll take
Yes.
that.
Thank you, Sheetal. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a great night ahead. Bye bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Thanks,
Bye.
Aprika.